Ay, 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 ay. Get right up on this microphone. Well, hello. Hello, hello, and howdy. We've been working on our sound game, on our I don't have my headphones on, but that's all right. We'll just leave that alone. Ugh. Yeah, so we might need my buddy Doug um, down in San Francisco, who's a sound engineer, audio engineer. I know there's a difference between that. Audio engineer is somebody that fixes and or crafts audio. A sound engineer is somebody who sets up the systems to be able to capture said audio. So, how to and who to ask about all this menagerie of headphones and whatnot. We plugged in the headphones, and we get this delay between when I'm talking and when I hear myself. It's very distracting. So Justin tried a few things, didn't have a lot of success, and it seems like the only way that we're going to fix this is if we spend a lot of money. Just seemingly the way that problems get solved. You have a problem, spend some money. You have a big problem, spend a lot of money. One way or another. Also, we learned we have some special guests in house. I won't say much more than that. But this is the brake bleed, or what I should say, what's left of the brake bleed screw, which you all probably can't see, but there's some bits of it not here from Pumpkin. We added a brake pressure sensor to go along with the 991 powertrain and whatnot in it, and needed to bleed the brakes. And it seems I tightened it up real good the last time that I did that, because I think I bled them last. This is why Jamie doesn't work on the cars at the Dundon Motorsports, at least not as a profession. I tell people about it, but I don't actually do it. We got anybody join us so far? All right, just nobody chatting. Say hello when you come in so that I can know that who's listening. What's going on, Oris? How you doing, brother? What's going on, Eric? How you been? You no want to zoom in worky. You no worky. Hey, there we go. This is what a bleed screw with the bleed all gone. Hello from Mexico, Bill. You guys down there for another triathlon? You just chilling? Welcome, Mr. Lackey. For those that don't know, Bill is Bill and his wife Tammy bought our GT4 RS Lab Rat. Almost coming up a year, couple months it'll be a year. So right on, chilling. What part of Mexico? You in Cabo? My favorite part of Mexico, which unfortunately we won't go back to, is Sayulita. Wonderful surfing in Sayulita. It's a little bit north of Puerto Vallarta. I will use my beautiful Spanish hardly to explain all about that. So here is a broken bleed screw. Don't do this. Do not over tighten it. It's very bad. Am I a little hot? A little cold. Uh-oh. A little cold. Rosarita-ish. I like it. So this is what we pulled out of Pumpkin so that we can bleed the brakes, so we can get the brake pressure sensor working, because we believe, those of you who have been following along, the reason that the car is unhappy with the PDK that's in it is partly due to the lack of an active brake pressure signal. So that is what we were in the midst of doing. I got an email from Porsche this afternoon that caught my attention. So this notice applies to your vehicle. Always gets your attention. There's the important safety issue. First, I thought it when I saw it was something from Porsche. I was like, oh shit, is this a cease and desist? They catching on that we're cleaning Manthey's clock everywhere? Manthey Racing. Or they don't like us tinkering around with their stuff. They're caught on what we're doing with Pumpkin. I don't know. Yeah, it's just they're saying the center locks on the new RS need some look, some work. So we'll have to see what they come back with that. And I reached out to Elliot at Porsche Bellingham to see what they can do for us. If we can do an inspection and or send the center locks, not send the whole car, that would be groovy because, bought the car as a paperweight so it can hang out, not actually drive it. That seems silly. So that was one of the things that happened. A couple things that we're going to talk about tonight beyond just randomness. We're going to talk about Dundon's product design methodology. So we're going to talk about that. I had Jorge, who's one of our design engineers over in Croatia. Yes, he's in Croatia. He put together a little video, and Justin added some color to the video, some more specifics around the video. For those of you that don't know, Orist, is the audio volume any better? Before I continue and you guys can't hate me, put it right up on my face. The lag after I say things and when a bit better, yeah, okay. Interesting. Sounds real good in Justin's headphones, but still not hot enough for you. Good afternoon, Mr. Himmelman. How are you? All right, he's streaming on his phone, trying to check settings. We did a checkity-check through our back-end systems, and everything looked good. Audio all good. Well, thank you, Tyrone. Appreciate that. So we're going to go through our development process, how we do things, why we do them that way. Yeah, I got that too. The 24 RS no drive bulletin. Yes, sir. We're just going through that. Got the letter and everything. Need some center locks, which is great. Everybody spent a gazillion dollars on these cars. They can't make the center locks right. But let's go through our design process. We're going to start with how we start most things. We 3D scan them. And why do we 3D scan them? Well, because we don't want to sit there and guess. That's why. Reality, the non-smart ass answer is most of the time we are trying to not only scan the part, but we are trying to scan the constraints around the part, the place that the part sits, so that we figure out how much space we have to massage, increase, reroute, et cetera, around other parts. So this is the 992 GT3 RS. This is Charles scanning the air intake. We also scan the area where the intake manifold goes. This will be one of our upcoming development projects. We've already started. We're going to start on the Cup car. This is for a resonance intake manifold for the 991 platform and 992 platform. So we already have it for the 997. We have it for the 981, 991 Carrera. We don't have anything for the 718 because it's actually got a pretty good intake to start with. They actually did a decent job. We could probably make it a little bit better, but not a whole lot better. The 991, 992 will encompass the Cup car, 991.1 GT3s, 991.2 GT3s, 992s, GT4 RSs, and 992 GT3 RSs. So we wanted to start with the Cup car because we have the full ability to tune it without encumbrance of the stock ECU. That way we can make sure that we're only working on the physics, not fighting torque limiters or other things, which the last time that we started this program on the 991 was a problem. And thank you, Justin, for aligning the camera directly with where I am underneath the camera, so it looks like I'm talking to people, not looking at myself on the TV screen as I'm talking. That was a bit of a successful subterfuge that I didn't pick up on immediately. So thank you for that. All right, so you can go full screen on the scanning and just let it go, and I will talk over it just the whole way that you did it before. So scanning, moving through, and then into kind of our design process. Yes, those are custom yellow microfiber towels that we get custom made here for Dundon Motorsports. You'll find them everywhere around the shop. You don't have custom microfiber towels at your shop? Just look into that. This is the image we get from the scanner. This is like 10% of the work so far. There is a lot of work that goes into that scan to clean it up, to actually make it into something that is usable. No, there is not an easy button that goes from scan to poof, here's a CAD drawing. No such thing exists. There is no copy pasta, no copy paste button when you're 3D scanning it. That is what most 3D scanning companies would have you believe. But it is not even remotely close to the truth. Nowhere close. All right, so you want to go to Jorge's video from here? Was that next?
Or they can see, this is the expectation. You scan the dang thing, and then you end up with that.
Yeah, so here's the, you scan it, and then poof, CAD sticks out, pops out. That's a complete system. For those of you who don't know, that is our GT3 RS. Complete exhaust in CAD, cats, muffler, all the assembly pieces, valves, all of it in three-dimensional CAD space. We like to use the term fits in CAD because half the time when somebody draws something in CAD that isn't at Dundon Motorsports, it does not fit on the car. So this is the workflow. Part of the reason, hit pause for a second, just so I can. Part of the reason that we're discussing this is we have been recently challenged that we have, in their words, blatantly copied someone's part. Those are big words, and those are hurt, meaning to be hurtful words, because then that's a dig on a person's integrity. That's a dig on company culture. That's a dig on a number of things. Typically, this picture, for those of you that don't know, is the front tension rod from a 991, and that is the scan of the stock part. So the most important part of the design boundary conditions, typically we'll set up a, when we start to design a part, there are a number of boundary conditions, both design goals, or it has to fit in a certain space. One of the most important for this one was that the factory brake duct would work on the modified part. Exactly, Morris. You load a CAD model directly into a CNC and you hit cycle start. Machine just machines. Absolutely. It's crazy. There's no G code that needs to be written if you're still using that. If you are, you should probably get back into 1998. But anyway, so you start with this scan, and we start to define the body. You can go and start playing. So you see the indentations there are where the brake duct clips in. So those were very important. We had to maintain those indentations in the part with clarity. So we define the working space. This is kind of the rough starting model. And we slowly work our way through and refine it and drill it down until we get an ability. Good evening, Larry. How you doing? Get an ability to start to actually define the surface, the features, et cetera, et cetera. We're going to use studs and shims, just like Porsche's lower control arms, because shims they add strength. They allow us some bandwidth for extension without compromising the strength of the part. and they allow us to have a machined area to attach the brake duct, which is great. Makes it easy. So you can see on the left is the entire history of the CAD file. And if we just sent this part out to get copied, then why do we go through all this work to do that? That just seems kind of silly. You just send it to someone in, I don't know, Russia, China, Japan, Taiwan, wherever the hell, somebody that doesn't care, they're just going to copy it and send you a part. You wouldn't have gone through any of this trouble to actually design the part, but that's what you're going to do. Now, boundary conditions from one company that has set out to design a part and another company that set out to design a part can result in parts that look miraculously similar to each other because you had similar boundary conditions when you started, but they are certainly not copies. So let's just put that to bed. So you can see we're defining the space, we're defining where things go, we're getting everything drawn up in CAD. Adding strength because we removed the through bolt. We added thickness. Added that's where a bearing goes on that side, where it attaches to the car. Added our logo. There you go. And this is just one suspension part, one of many that have been designed and brought to bear here in the last 9 months or so. Very similar details have been put forth through a lot of them. You know, this goes into our exhaust. We do the same thing for exhaust parts. We do the same thing for aero parts. All of the mounts and lips and dive planes and everything else, they all get done this way. Horvier likes to use SolidWorks. We are not as baller as we might want to be. Here you can see the features that he has derived from the scan that are important, that he has made as, if you will, reference cubes, such that the actual part doesn't miss them, right? We keep them in there. You can see the studs coming through. You can see where the shim stack would be. And keep rolling down through the history file, defining more and more and more of it. You can even see the 12-point bolts that we use for strength and ease of access with a long socket so that you can actually get those in there without too much trouble. Horvier had some voiceover on this. I just wanted to change it. So that's why if there's some pauses and some stuff that isn't being said, that's probably why, because he had a whole bunch of stuff he went through. So you can see as we go, continues to get more and more refined. You can see where the scan and the part are existing in the same space. Now we've cut some of those parts away, making sure that we have adequate room for the brake duct to clip on to the tension arm in the same space. Also wanted to make sure that we didn't have any interference from the studs, even at its shortest, which isn't probably something you would run it at. It would be extra short, which wouldn't be great for caster. You can see we've added a shim. Got a little longer. Back into 3D space. And as Justin mentioned, the green cylinder in there is for socket clearance. So that we can ensure you can get a tool on it when we're making it. So yeah, that gives you a little bit of insight into the CAD process, and that it is not just copy pasta, and there is the original part, and there is the finished part. These are all going on Lab Mouse, so Lab Mouse got a whole upgrade package, full suite of products, MCS, all of our suspension arms. We're going to run through. Here you go. You can see the tension arm. You can see the lower control arm. You can see a caster puck. You can see extended tie rod end. All kinds of goodies in there. Keep it sharp. Keep the alignment exactly where we want it. And all with logos ablaze, which is quite nice to see. Quite nice to see. So, I don't know. Some company out of Taiwan, I think. Yeah. Taiwan Semiconductor. TSMC makes these. I love it. Their giant billion-dollar factory. So that was a little bit about our design process. And I am blanking on the next thing we're going to talk about. Is that sticky tires? Sticky tires. Let's talk about sticky tires. So there was a friend of ours that posted a video. Felix from Saga Motorsports posted a video about him having their car being and him having the fastest lap in a GT4 RS at COTA. And it's accurate. They put Hankook slicks on a otherwise stock GT4 RS, and he went a couple tenths faster than Ted did in a lab rat in Barry Miner's lab rat on R7s, Hoosier R7s. So essentially I wanted to talk about, at first it kind of stung when Felix put that up there. That was not his intent. We chatted about it. And so we're cool. Everything's fine. And the thing that I told Felix that I wanted to make sure of is when folks first get into doing track work, they all think that all they need are sticky tires. That's it. Get me the stickiest tires. I'm going to set my fastest lap time because I'm sure that Porsche put everything else right to be able to handle those sticky tires. It's actually really wrong, unfortunately. You probably can't get the alignment you need for those sticky tires. You probably don't have adequate platform in the car from the suspension, both the springs and the dampers, for the amount of G-load that those tires are going to allow that car to experience. You're not going to have fixed any of the car's really evil traits with like for in the 4RS specifically, it's bump steer characteristics. So you're still going to be fighting the car and trying to catch it. You're still going to be bouncing over curbs and all kinds of other really nasty behaviors. So Felix and I were kind of texting back and forth, kind of chatting. And I was like, the reason that we build the parts that we build and the reason that we kind of walk people down the path for those parts is to make the car not only faster, but easier to drive fast and less maniacal. If you put sticky tires on a car that already has some bad tendencies on street tires, those tendencies are just going to get a lot worse. I'll give you for instance. So our friend Roger, put Roger's picture back up. That was good. That was a good one. The one you got on the right. Yeah. So our buddy Roger, traditionally been a street car driver, bought a cup car. I encouraged this. This was something that I thought was going to be, is and was. There we go. Good for him. He became a better driver in the cup car. He also was safer in the cup car, and it cost him a lot less money because he had a 997.2 GT3 that he was building that he was able to sell that, buy a cup car, buy a truck, buy a trailer, buy stuff for the cup car, and still have some money in his pocket, which was crazy, right? I mean, that just sounds silly, but that's kind of how it was. And this cup car was a beast. It was a RSR heads, like real 997 RSR heads. It was gobs and gobs of power. It had Penske shocks on it, real race car shit, top of the line stuff. He sent them out. He got them rebuilt. He went out as many street car guys are apt to do, and Michelin blue slicks are on the car, so sticky tires. But here's the deal with sticky tires. You got to get them up to temperature for them to be sticky. If they're cold, they're really not sticky at all. and they can bite you. And that's kind of what happened. So I think it was his second or third lap. Maybe it was third lap. I forget. Second or third, something like that. Second. Thank you, Justin. Car was feeling good. He was testing it, end of the straight, braking. Car's braking. It's turning through turn 1. It's taking the turn. Takes turn 2. No problem. Turn 2 is a compression turn, so it's kind of coming into the bottom of a hill as you're turning. So it's like, and the car's got plenty of grip, comes up the hill. And then 3 is an off-camber, kind of over the top of a crest, right-hander, and the car just went away. Just like that, gone. So the reason I bring it up is street car guys, when they first go to really, really sticky tires, they don't always have the patience to get and/or the sense of when the tires are in or when the tires are out. So in their operating window or outside of their operating window. So beautiful car. God, the livery on that car is really something. Orange and white. It's really, really quite nice. Hee. Anyway, so the point is, be careful looking for an easy silver bullet. There we go. That's what I'm looking for. Be careful looking for a silver bullet, because it's really not. It's really not. In the hands of a pro or even a high amateur, maybe it can be, but even a pro will go faster more consistently in a well set up car than they will in a car with just sticky tires. So that's enough on sticky tires. Those are my 2 niggles that came this week. I'm trying not to be negative about things, but those were the niggles that showed up. One of them last week, one of them this week. So hopefully we've put to bed that Dundon doesn't look on other people's homework and just fill it out and send it into the teacher. We actually do our homework. And quite frankly, anytime that we've been tempted to not do our own homework, it's just been horrible. Parts don't fit. They're not even close. Yada, yada, yada. When we've gotten drawings for wheels from somebody and looked at them and tried to put them on the car, they don't fit. Shit's wrong. Other companies' drawings of stuff, they don't fit. It's wrong. So we end up having to do it all anyway. So we just do it all anyway from the start. So we went through, for those of you who came in late, let's show the recall notice. Got a letter from Porsche this afternoon. They make it seem so nice with their white gloves and the holding of the sticker, which honestly, that sticker being held with white gloves, maybe that's not a sticker. Maybe that's actually a badge. RSs have stickers, so obviously not a picture of an RS. So your safety is our top priority. And I love how they say, please pause driving, not stop driving, because pause seems softer somehow. It's not stop, it's pause. Found that to be kind of funny. We're advising you to immediately pause driving your vehicle until your vehicle has been inspected and your center lock wheel bolts have been, I don't know, whatever they're going to do. So we're working with our local SA up at Porsche Bellingham. It's not really local, but we like Porsche. We like Porsche Bellingham to try and get some more details around this. Haven't gotten a call back yet, but maybe I have by now. And it was late on a Friday, so not a big surprise. So any of you other RS owners that haven't received this, you might. It's kind of shitty, but hopefully it's not going to be another 3 months of sitting around waiting for them to produce 4,000 sets of center locks for all the cars that may need them, which would kind of suck. Also, for those of you who are late, who came in a little late, we have some guests here in-house that are helping get a number of our longtime car projects more across the line than they have been. So Pumpkin hopefully will see another large step forward here over the next 10 days. They started work on some things today. We should see the Monster Boxster potentially even leave, which would be really cool. So we've got some work to do on that. We've got Cup Club Sport activities going on. So there's a wire harness and whatnot going in Cup Club Sport. Cup Club Sport is our 997 Cup car project that we are putting 991.2 GT3 RS and PDK powertrain inside, modernizing the inside. Maybe it gets some flashy stuff for the suspension. Might get a cool center exit radiator through hood vent radiator. There we go. I'll get all the words out. And maybe even be ready for springtime track days in 2025. At least that's the immediate goal. And then after those things are done, we can actually start concentrating on the one project that we started almost when Dundon Motorsports started, and that's 001. For those of you who don't know what 001 is, you should probably come around once in a while, be able to see what I'm talking about. And those of you that do, it should be pretty cool. Maybe fall next year. That car is a running prototype, maybe a little earlier, but I'm just trying to wag. Kind of like Elon Musk. I have optimistic timelines, but that's all good. Also, we've had, I don't know, about a week since the 992.2 came out or got announced last week. About a week ago. And I think the feeling's pretty much universal. Overpriced, not enough upgrade, and certainly not enough upgrade for almost $60,000 more than a base 992.1 before the price increase. So, holy hell. So we'll see how all of that comes together. I'm sure they'll sell them. I mean, who isn't going to buy a GT3? But I don't think they're going to. I think we're going to see more 992.1s move than 992.2s. So that's a great shot in the sunset with the car in a drift. That was pretty cool. Is that at a Porsche Experience Center? What track is that? Yeah, it must be. So yeah, Ealing, I agree. I think the 992.2 Touring will be more popular, especially if you can spec it to be really damn close to an ST. So suspension, I take that with a grain of salt because, Porsche's always said the suspension's this, the suspension's that, and rarely does it live up to its hype, in my opinion. Said another way, every single Porsche we've ever put MCS on has always been better. So I'll just take it as that. That's fine. I'm cool with it. If we got to put, like we just did it on our RS, GT3 RS, and it's better. Who'd thunk it? So, probably have some more for you for next Friday. What else you got? Yes. Go and put a little snippet of that up. So we had a wonderful guest a number of weeks ago. It was still sunny then. Mr. Mike Kojima came by. For those of you who don't know who Mike Kojima is, you can look him up, but he is a very learned chassis engineer. He worked for TRD. He worked for Nismo. He helped Chrysler with the Viper ACR. He works with a lot of folks. He's worked on a lot of projects that you might recognize if I were to say the names, but I probably can't say the names, so I won't. He came by. Mike's been a buddy of Charles for probably going on 20 years when they're both working on Nissan P10s, Sentras, and the like. Mike has helped us on a number of projects, one of them being 001, which is very cool. And so he came by, and we have a whole series for Whiskey Friday Academy around suspension. This is just me and Charles and Mike all talking about suspension basics. What's caster, what's camber, what's toe, what's trail, what's, et cetera, et cetera. A whole big slew of definitions of things. Kirk Meyer is working on producing this, which is going to be pretty cool to see, because you got a lot of Jamie and Mike doing hand signals, and you got your camber, and then you got your caster, and then you got your toe, and yeah, doing all the like hand waviness is cool. But if we can actually get some diagrams together and put that together, that'd probably make it a little bit more, a little less confusing, a little bit more clear. There we go. So watch that dropping. We've also got a nice little piece that we put together celebrating our buddy Gabe's laps at Laguna in his Lab Rat. This was a little bit to capture the Dundon Motorsports side of it. It's for those of you who subscribe to our newsletter, you will be the first to see that video. This is also going to be talking about our new products that are available for Black Friday. And while we're on that topic, our Black Friday sale is starting on Monday, the 28th of October. That is this coming week. We've already kind of started quietly helping people if they're asking for parts. The gist is this. If you want a Lab Rat package would consist of at least MCS, aero, suspension arms. If you did power package, MCS, suspension arms, or if you already have MCS and you wanted to do power package and aero, all of those things would count. Full aero, full power package, that means the exhaust and the intake and the tune, if we have one, then you will get 15% off, which is the biggest discounts that we've ever done for those parts. Anybody getting an exhaust with a titanium muffler will get 15% off. Anybody getting a full D3 package, so that's headers, exhaust, and intake. So like a D3 or a D4 package, D4 would be $997. You can get 15% off. Everything else is 10% off. So this is a big deal. We want to try and get a bunch of parts out to people over this long holiday season and give people some time to actually comprehend what it is they're buying, because this isn't it's not like buying a TV from Amazon on Black Friday. You've been wanting that TV all year. I mean, maybe it is. Maybe guys want the aero parts and they've known about it and they're waiting for that discount, which would be great. Or they know they want MCS and they're just waiting for it. Cool. But most of the time there needs to be a conversation. There's only so many conversations Ted and I can have in a day to be able to explain, help, figure out, et cetera, et cetera. So we've already been getting draft invoices in the hands of folks. If you are interested to get those parts earlier than later, then getting them done on the beginning part of the yes, he did. Yes, he did. I'll come back to that even. So if you want your parts, you want to get your stuff early, you want to get it before it's actually Black Friday, hit us up early. Don't wait until don't wait until Cyber Monday and then bitch at me that it's going to take us 3 or 4 weeks to get you parts, because you waited till the very end of the sale. It's going to be how it goes. So you get fair warning. Bring it in early. Bring it on in. We help you. We got a lot of shit in stock, like a whole lot of shit in stock. So Ealing brings up a very good point. Gabe, in his 991.2 GT3 RS Lab Rat with Dundon Power, with MCS, with Dundon Aero, went 216.9 on 200 treadwear tires. These were Goodyear Supercar 3Rs that he went 216, which is faster than that GT4 RS went on slicks. So, like I was saying, sticky tires will get you so far, but hey, what's up? What's up, Leo? Good to see from you. Need money for splitter. Time to sell kidneys, brother. If you got two, you only need one. Philip only has one. He does fine. So you can probably get at least 10 G's for a kidney. Maybe more, depending on who you know. Do not condone selling body parts for Dundon parts, but what I don't know doesn't hurt me. Yeah, there's a number of cars that have gone quick that are, we'll call them full Dundon cars. We've had a number of guys. We won a time attack championship for the whole season in the Philippines with the same car that Gabe has, 991.2 GT3 RS, full rat, owned by Mark. There's a bug on my face, excuse me. And then another of our customers in South Africa did the same thing, both a hill climb series and a time attack series in his 991.2 GT3 RS. He's got intake, MCS, and full aero. Mark Savino has everything. I mean, everything that we sell. So his car's got, his is tuned like Gabe's is for high octane fuel, making well over 500 to the wheel. So anywho, yes, the parts work. We stand behind them. We love talking with you guys and helping you find all the ways to recraft the cars in how you want them. And we're going to continue developing new shit. We're just going to keep the hammer down, developing cars, developing platforms, developing methods, and developing parts. So anybody, I'll turn it over to the rest of you. Does anyone have any questions for me that are interesting? Besides, I need to get some more water. I'm thirsty. It's water. Water doesn't lubricate the way whiskey does. It's funny. Crazy. I appreciate that, Larry. Thank you. Yeah. All the new systems, processes. I won't go so far as to say it's made it all quick and easy, but it has made it easier than it was, for sure. Certainly easier than it was. All right, we'll hang out for another 30, 45 seconds of almost silence. What do we got here? Oh, shit, it's a plastic intake out of an engine bay. This is so funny. That's perfect. Porsche wouldn't use plastic intakes. What are you talking? We posted a thing up on Instagram, just a snippet of Whiskey Friday Academy, where we talk about aluminum intakes and nylon intakes and the lies that have been told by some of our aftermarket compatriots that aluminum pulls heat out of the intake air because it has a higher thermal conductivity. We've talked about this a couple times. It's kind of one of my fun pet peeves that I like to beat on endlessly. So it's they got some of the words right when they said that. So aluminum does have higher thermal conductivity. It doesn't cool the intake air off as it goes into it, because the air going into the aluminum intake is cool and the surrounding area in the engine bay is hot. And so that means the aluminum is hot. You guessed it. Good guess. And that means that the air inside the aluminum intake is going to get correct again, hotter. Yes, it will get hotter because the aluminum is hot and it will conduct that heat easily because it's a metal and has a high thermal conductivity. So the comment that was made was, don't they know about something? I'm going to paraphrase. Don't worry. All the plastic that they're using is going to degrade. I want to see it in 10 years because it's obvious they don't know about thermal degradation. Anyone? Thermal degradation? Anyone? I'm like, oh my, okay. And this guy's been, a lot of people's names on Instagram are the same names that they used 10 years ago on Renlist. So I'm kind of not surprised when I see these kind of comments, but that's okay. I took the bait. And that's where that picture, I would roll that again now that picture has context, the video. Because What's funny, it's funny, not funny, not even really ironic, is Porsche has been using nylon for intakes on even their cup cars for over 10 years. Crazy. 2014. 991.1 GT3 has a nylon intake. Before that, 987.2 has a nylon intake. 997.2 Carreras, nylon intake. All the DFI cars have nylon intakes. Well, why, Porsche? Don't you know there's a thing called thermal degradation, and that intake is just going to melt and fall out the back of the car like putty? Oh, wait. The nylon isn't close to its glass transition temperature? So it's stable? And it isn't going to degrade over time? Oh, well, that's cool. I'm glad you have material scientists that actually know something. That's great. I love having conversations with somebody that's not really there. Make it think like you guys are. I'm having a conversation with somebody. But so, are we worried about the nylon that we use for our intakes degrading? No, because a number of them have actually been in service for. It's a very appropriate question, Ealing. That's kind of scary with the people we have in the building. So, yeah, a lot of the intakes have been in service for 10 years, many of them on cup cars, not 10 years on cup cars, but a number of them have been out for a long time. Anywho, I'm not worried about it. They're going to be fine. In past Whiskey Friday, we did mention a Motec type ECU that can be tuned to have more power due to its, more the flexibility to tune it. Here's the downside of doing a standalone ECU. You lose all of the error messages from OBD2, which means that if and when your engine starts acting weird, you have to go and figure out why from first principles. Now, you'll have logs to look at. You can see how much fuel's going in. You can see where the fuel's going in. You can see what's happening with the ignition and the spark and the cam timing and all of these things. But if you don't know how to interpret that data and would rely on, hey, your oxygen sensor is slow, you need to fix that, then a standalone ECU might not be for you. There are a number, some of the older cars, 997s, 997 GT3s, we've worked with our friends at Calibrated Performance for years on developing a kit. We helped kind of initiate all of that work early on, and Daniel and his team have taken that all the way to the end. So it's a very well developed product, and really where you get the extra horsepowers, if you will, is you don't have emissions limitations, you don't have torque limiters, et cetera, et cetera. And so you don't see the standalone ECUs really taking hold here in the U.S. for street cars. We have one on our cup car. We put one on the cup. Right? Talk to us about this in 150 years. Exactly right. Exactly right. Talk to us about that plastic degrading that they don't even let in the landfill anymore because it doesn't fucking biodegrade. Won't go anywhere. So, standalone ECUs are great for race cars that don't have to pass emissions, that don't have to go get carb certified, that don't have to go deal with inspections, et cetera, et cetera. You live in Dubai, knock yourself out. Just got to pass a tail sniff, you're good to go. Done. You live in some other jurisdiction where you don't have to deal with emissions and whatnot, then you can tune the car any way you want. What's curious is Australia was the place where most of these ECUs originated from, because they were one of the first countries to mandate fuel injection for cars, which is kind of interesting. I don't know if it was mandate, but I think it was something along those lines, close to. Jurisdictionalized law, something. I'm going to pull out a bunch of words on my ass, so there you go. For your car, Ealing, it would probably be better I believe that Cyvex makes a kit for the 981. You have a 981 or 718? I think they might make one for 718. I don't know. Just know you are going down a rabbit hole if you chose to go down that hole. It is a big, deep, dark rabbit hole. Yeah, it's a big, deep, dark rabbit hole. Not always a positive experience. Can be fraught with a lot of frustration as you're trying to figure things out and make the car work and find people to work on it and all that kind of stuff. When you make the car extra pointy, you begin to limit who you can ask questions about it, and you have to do a lot more of it yourself, which if you're not into that, then don't go chasing every last horsepowers, because not always. That juice isn't always worth the squeeze. Coming from the guy that makes parts for lots and lots of horsepowers. So I don't actually make them. I just kind of stand around and grunt and point, and other people do it. But, anyway, good question, Ealing. That took a minute. GT3 Matty, how's the bike riding going? It's good. It's kind of end of season for outdoor riding up here. It's been in the 40s all week, so I'm setting the bike up on the indoor trainer. I'll be trying to get on it this weekend. Start the winter training regimen, and trying to keep improving my my wattage output and whatnot. Also getting yes sir, inside now. Also getting my sim put together. I hope to have a computer and a screen and a steering wheel and start doing electronic-y stuff inside over the weekend. So I'm sure I'll have a zillion questions for my learned sim friends about why the fuck doesn't this pedal work, and why does my steering wheel pitch to the I don't know. I'm making shit up. So anyway, it is time to go get some hamburguesa. Message retracted. Wow. That's very rare for Larry to retract a message. So I feel good that I didn't get to read it. Anybody needs anything else, hit us up, let us know, and we will chat with you guys next Friday, hopefully with an update on Pumpkin and some other projects, which would be really cool. All right. Talk to you guys later. Enjoy your weekend. Bye.